Hello. This time I'm changing up a little bit. I'm doing line art again. It's been literal years since I've done digital line art, I think. Because I have an issue where I tend to obsess over it because I have the ability to zoom in and be very precise, and I cannot be trusted with that ability. So there will be line art later. We're doing the sketch right now. Yeah. I managed to finish this in about 3 hours. And I say about, but like it's literally 3 hours in like 2 seconds. So it's 3 hours. Um, and part of that is that I was, like you just saw, I've been moving things around and judging them. And I wish with Procreate, sometimes a lot of the time when you do that, it kind of degrades the quality. And I really wish it didn't because it's such a good time saver. Because I didn't want to be doing this all day. When I used to do this kind of very polished style, one I used a slightly different liner brush that was a little neater, but it would take 6-7 hours, sometimes even 8 hours for like a relatively simple one, just because I was so into getting the line art perfect. But I've chosen a different line art brush that's kind of has a little bit of opacity change to it, not just like thickness. And that kind of was a little bit more similar to the brushes I used to sketch, and I feel like that helped me a little bit to just loosen up. But it was my first time using this like line art brush, so I struggled with the face shape a lot because it was like the first big line I did. I seriously was like, I might need to change my brush. Might need to change it. I was really questioning my choices at that point, but I really fell in love with the brush when I got here, where I'm doing the eyelashes. I just feel like that kind of quality to it is really, really good for kind of having a softness to the eyelashes that you lose really easily if you're doing a lot of line art. So I do decide I like this brush in the end. But yeah, you're about to see why I'm a little sad about the issue with the Procreate moving things around, because I'm about to duplicate this eye, and with some brushes it's better than others. See, it's not very obvious. It's super subtle, but I wish it was not an issue. I mean, there's a possibility that I have a setting wrong somewhere. So if you know any better settings for that, let me know, because I'm living in the dark ages. So here I am, again, trying not to be super precise with her hair, just giving it swooshies. This is on a separate line art layer than her kind of face, which is on a separate line art layer than the eyelashes. This will be relevant later because I'm going to be coloring my line work to kind of make it a little more subtle and blend it in. Yeah, I'm just trying to get the general shape down here. And again, not be too precise, because I wanted to be done with this at some point. Again, trying out, because it's been so long, I forget what brushes I use for everything. So I'm trying out everything again. Here I am. I forgot to do this step. I'm erasing the face lines a little bit where they're underneath the hair. It just really helps with the convincing you it's behind something that's kind of transparent but not fully. So here I am, blocking in my colors. It's been a while since I've done flats because, again, I haven't been doing this kind of cartoony style. I've been doing a lot more colored digital painting kind of stuff. Oh, and just sketches where it's not precise enough to use flats like this. And I'm blending it in because, again, I'm going to make the hair where it overlaps the face a little bit transparent later on. So it's relevant that I keep in mind what the skin is doing underneath the hair just a little bit. But it's not like critical. So I went for her hair, I went with like a more of an auburn ready color. I was really just making up these colors as I went along. Just coming up with it as it happened. I really had no idea I was going in blind on this, but I knew that I wanted to do line art, and that was about it. But I also knew I wanted to not take too long because I'm tired today. See, I was hoping for like an hour-long little doodle thing, and then I was like, we're gonna make this 3 hours. It's just gonna happen. So now I'm like way behind where I wanted to be in my day and my to-do list. But she's cute. She kind of has her head down a little bit, a little pouty. It's cute. See, this is another thing with flats, is that I never know what to say, because it's not very transformative. You might notice I'm like kind of blurring the ends a little bit. This isn't a critical step. It's just that I feel like they looked too blunt. And I was going for like a softer look, a little fuzzier look, so I was blurring the ends. Just because it felt a little intense, especially next to, how much I blurred the eyelashes, the eyelash color. Yeah. I'm about to reach it to a point where I can actually have something to talk about. Oh no, I forgot the other side of her hair that has to be flatted in. Flatting in colors. It's hard on my spirit. Because it's so not very interesting for me to do. It's another reason I changed to kind of painting. I just adjusted her skin tone a second ago to be slightly more pink because it was not going with the colors. In her eyes, I added a little bit of purple near the top. I'm adding gradients. I feel like that generally kind of helps things stand out because I'm going with a multiplied layer over the, face and eyes is what I'm doing right now. So with this kind of style of doing, there's a lot less like variation than with the painterly style, but I do want there to be some variation, so I do add kind of blushes and gradients and light sections and stuff like that beforehand, just because otherwise I feel like it's a little too plain. And here I am struggling with what brush to use to blend this in a good way. Again, it's been a minute. It's been a minute since I've done this kind of style of drawing. So I forgot all my favorite brushes, except for the line art brush, which I consciously decided to change. Yeah. So here, what do we do? Oh, it's the eyes. These are the eyes. I am adding a second multiplied layer for this section, the ring around the outside and the kind of pupil area. I'm also, what did I end up using? I don't even remember what layer type I used for this section. I'm so sorry. I was struggling with what layer type to use. So I'm adding this kind of ring, and I decided it doesn't look good on that side, so I'm about to adjust it. Yeah. I like to add like a different color near the top. It's kind of like slightly lighter, just because otherwise I feel like that can look a little too dark. I like that kind of reflective quality of the lens. Oh, I'm adding highlights. I forget what layer type I used. Terrible. But I'm making sure it's like a warmer tone, kind of closer to her original skin tone, but like lighter, to do this kind of nice, soft, yellowish light on her skin. And I'm futzing with how precise I want that to be and how much I want it to be. What am I doing? Yes, I've moved on to her hair. So this is really the bread and butter. Because I said awkward, and then I colored her hair in really quite orangey reddy. And it's because the way I do the hair in this style darkens it. So I added a multi-layer with, and I did kind of this. Now I'm erasing out with the same line art brush a little bit just to kind of bring that hair texture back in. I'm about to do, a separate multiply layer just to do more dimension to the hair and what side is farther away from the light source. I think I'm going to tone that down later. I'm not quite sure. I can't remember if I mulled it over, but I'm not quite sure if I remembered. Here I am adding highlights. Don't worry, I'm erasing them down. They won't be as strong as they were when I first put them down. And they also get erased through, like the shadows. Yeah, I think I did tone down the highlights. Now I'm just kind of color picking and giving a few extra lines to the hair just to make it look a little softer, a little less, artificial. And I'm just cleaning up things, coloring my line art, deciding what line art colors should be. Keep adjusting, how dark they are and stuff like that. And I don't do one flat line art for, like, the line art color for the skin. I do vary it depending on if it's in the light or not. Now I've colored the hair in. Oh, I decided that she looked a little awkward floating in space there, so I'm going to kind of imply that she's, like, wearing an off-the-shoulder top, like a sweatery top. And now I'm just going to light the eyes up. I really struggled to figure out how to make them cute. But that's the end. I think I figured it out. Thank you for sticking to the end. You really didn't have to, but you're great.